right, so over the past few days, I have been seeing a lot of people on Twitter posting clips from like 2K15, 2K16, 2K17, 2K19. A bunch of people are posting old dribbling clips and talking about how the dribbling from 10 years ago is better than the dribbling in 2K25. And I kind of want to give my own 2 cents on that because I agree with it for the most part. So one of the tweets I want to mention in this video is from this guy Glock19, and I'm sure the majority of you probably know who this is. So he puts out a tweet and says, 2K16 was so fluid, man. There was no clunkiness, no getting stuck in animations, and hundreds of signature styles. And he attached the video that you guys are watching on the screen right now. And I want you all to just look at this in the background while I'm talking. This is technology from 10 years ago. And look how much more fluid the dribbling looks. Like, that actually looks somewhat realistic. It is a little arcadey, but it is infinitely more realistic than what we get in 2K25. 2K25, there is clunkiness all over the place. You get stuck in these stupid animations where it feels like you can't even control your player and you can't even move around the court properly or precisely. Meanwhile, this is a game from 10 years ago that you're watching in the background with infinitely better animations than what we're playing now. It doesn't make any sense. And another thing that I want to point out that I actually find insane is if you look at the graphics in this, I actually think these graphics look better than 2K25. And that's fine if you disagree with me. But like the lighting and all of the stuff hitting the court, that actually looks realistic. And I like that graphics. I like the graphics there and the art style so much better than I like 2K25's, which is insane. This came out on the fucking Xbox One, bro, and the PS4. In my next-gen Xbox Series X, the graphics look worse on the new game than it did 10 years ago. How does that make any sense? Like, there's no excuse other than laziness from this company. Now, a common complaint you're going to see from people is when they see dribbling like this, they're going to go, oh my God, like that's such cheese. Like you can't even guard it. Ankle breakers were so overpowered back then. And if you see people typing that, that is the easiest way to know the person has no idea what they're talking about or they sucked at the game back in 2K16. Because you know if you played this game, I'm sure some of you have, you could easily box this up if you were actually a good defender. It wasn't overpowered bullshit dribble moves like people claim. The people saying that just sucked at the game back then and could not guard people. It's that simple. I wasn't even that good at the game back in 2K16. I was a kid. I was a kid locking people up trying to dribble like this. And you're telling me you were a grown-ass man back then and you couldn't guard these people? Like, you're literally just admitting to everyone that you're ass. And another mechanic that I think a lot of people forgot about in the old 2Ks, I know this was in 2K16, is if you got an ankle breaker and you fully dropped someone, you would get a huge boost to your shot success rate because you dropped the motherfucker. And that was a great mechanic, especially for pure playmakers. I don't know why that was taken out of the game. Like nowadays, ankle breakers are almost non-existent. To begin with, you have like a 1 in a million chance of actually dropping someone. But assuming you even get to that point and you get the good RNG and you get the 1 in a million chance, that mechanic is no longer in the game. And I think that fucking sucks. I think that was a great mechanic. And I don't know why that was removed from the game. And I would think that the rebuttal to that is people are going to say in 2K25, the defense feels more balanced. But to me, that just raises the question, is the defense really better, or did offense just get nerfed so deeply to the point where we think defense is better? And I think the answer to that question is yes. Defense is not any better than it has been in 2K25, but it feels like it's better because the animations and the dribble moves are so clunky that it feels like you're playing good defense, when in reality, it's the same that the defense has always been, but dribbling and offense is so clunky and watered down and nerfed that it feels like defense has been buffed when in reality it hasn't. I'm going to put the 2K16 clip right back up on your screen so I can show you this all again, okay? If you tried to do anything similar to this in 2K25, you would be getting bumped. There would be some bullshit clunky animation that cut you off in the middle. Dribbling like that in 2K25 is not even remotely possible. There's invisible walls all over the court. You feel like you can't even control your player. You're always getting interrupted in your dribble flow. There's always issues that are causing like bump animations and all kinds of bullshit. None of that used to be in the game. All of those animations are not realistic whatsoever. And yet people will still be in support of that, saying it stops the cheese, when in reality, it's not cheese if you suck at the fucking game. It's cool. Like, just admit that you can't play defense. And if you also look at the 2K16 clip that's playing, look how much faster the game speed is. Like, this is a complaint that I've had for the past few years. I would say since 2K24. They keep dialing down the game speed more and more and more to where the game just feels like shit to play. And the argument for that is, oh, that makes the game feel more realistic. It really doesn't. It just makes the game feel more and more clunky. Like this game speed that we're at in 24 and 25, mainly 25, because they dropped it even more for 25. I cannot stand where the game speed is at. I feel like I'm moving through fucking molasses trying to do literally anything in 25. I do not like the game speed at all. It needs to be minimum doubled in that game. And it really stuck out to me around December when the 23 servers were turning off, so I got on the game one last time. And I was just dribbling around and moving my player, and I was like, holy shit, this game feels like it's at 300% game speed, because the game is infinitely faster. Even if you just go back to games from a couple years ago, like 23, or even if you go back to 22, the game speed just feels like it's tripled or quadrupled. Like ever since 23, 24, 25, they are just nerfing the shit out of the game speed. And I understand to an extent why they did it. You know, the left writing was really a meta for a while. But instead of nerfing the game speed, they should have buffed defense so left writing wasn't so overpowered. But instead, they just kept slowing the game speed down. And I don't fuck with that at all. And let me just remind you all of something, okay? 2K25 in its trailers was advertised to have precise launches and stops. And the main selling point for the game was that it was going to have 1,500 new animations, and they were reworking the entire dribble animations and the whole engine with pro play. Okay, and after all of that, we still only have 3 or 4 moves that are good and a dribble engine that just feels like absolute shit. Like, how do we go from 2K16 where the dribbling feels really good and somewhat realistic? It's somewhere in the middle in 2K16, which is where it should be. How do we go from that to where we are in 2K25? It just keeps getting worse. And this is a little bit off topic, but I want to bring this up as well because it somewhat relates to the video. I think that 2K needs to make more viable, effective dribble moves. And I'll use 2K25 as an example for this. If you're on a guard in 2K25, you know the best dribble style by far is Darius Garland, okay? Why is that the only real viable dribble style? Why are there not other ones that are even comparable to that? That is what causes the quote-unquote cheese and the meta every year. It's everyone using the same moves because there's always a move or a dribble style or an animation that is infinitely better than the other ones. Like, why is it like that? There should be more animations where it's somewhat comparable, even if it's not as good. It should be somewhat comparable and almost as good as Darius Garland, just as an example. But that goes for every game with all of the dribble moves. That's what causes all of the cheese, and people say content creators are cheesing and all of this bullshit. That's what causes that. And that's not the community's fault. It's not our fault for finding the most effective moves. It is the game's fault. It is 2K's fault for not actually making other effective moves. If they make one move way better than the rest of them, how are you going to blame the community for using the best move that 2K chose? That just doesn't make any sense to me. And I also feel like the slower game speed and all of the bullshit that's in 2K25, it is designed for casual players. The slower game speed, all of the clunky animations and the RNG, that is all designed for new players. But when they put that in there for newer players to learn combos and try to learn the game and all of that, veterans like people like you, I'm assuming if you're watching this far into the video, you probably agree with me and you've been playing the game for a while, that fucks up the game for people like me and you. They cater towards casuals way too much, and I'm fucking tired of that. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to get into in this video. I kind of wanted to give my own 2 cents about the dribble talk that's going on right now. In case I need to say this and it's not obvious, 2K16 dribbling is obviously better than 2K25 dribbling. Now, let me just say this to make it abundantly clear. Every game's dribbling, all 25 of the games that have come out from 2K are better than 2K25's dribbling, okay? Can we just make that very clear? And while we're at it, I'll go a step further. All 24 of the games that came out before 2K25 are also better than 2K25. And why is that, you might be asking? It's because 2K25 is the worst 2K of all time. I don't want to go down a whole rabbit hole of ranting about 25 being the worst of all time again. I've done it enough times at this point, so I'm just going to end the video here. But before I sign off, let me just give a quick shout out to all my members. I appreciate all you guys. If you want to become a member, you will get a shout out at the end of the video like you see right now. I'll pop your name up and shit. You also see my videos a day early, so if you're interested in that, it's literally $1. If you don't give a fuck about that, obviously don't become a member then, you know, use your brain a little bit. But yeah, until my next video, this has been your boy Tex ranting about dribbling in this dog shit game, and I'm out of here, people. Peace.